episode 24 of A Trouble Shared, a podcast where two comedians try and heal the world by solving one of your problems one at a time. My name's Johnny Cochrane, and with me is someone who is the metaphorical bridge over troubled water. It's Twayna Mayne. How you doing, Twayna?
Johnny, that was a very good introduction. I was doing all right, but now I'm just like, I'm in awe of you. That is one of your best.
Yes.
I'm going to put that as the number one. That's the best intro I think you've done. Yeah. We can stop this episode now. Can we get it any better after that intro? I think you peaked. That's it. Thank you for listening to A Trouble Shared. We're going to discontinue this series. It was good, but Johnny's just knocked it out of the park. So,
yeah, we hit the zenith. The zenith there. And thank you. You know, connoisseurs of this podcast will know that it can be up and down.
Yeah.
The intros. That was an up. And if you're not happy with ups, then what we're doing in life, you won't know. Peek behind the curtain here, Twayna. But when I asked for a couple of seconds there, just before we hit record, I was actually brainstorming with Google.
I did see you. Oh, is that what you? Oh, that was what you typed into. Oh, you shouldn't have told me that.
Well, to be honest, I've actually lied because I kind of had that at the top of my mind, and then I looked for something else, and then I actually went back to the original one. Okay. So it was technically my own brilliance and genius. I'm just showing you that I was trying that time. Okay. It wasn't as natural as it, you know. So there you go.
I did see you looking. I did see you type some stuff into Google, and then I did see you just before you pressed record go like that. So now I know there was a lot more to that. And Johnny, you shouldn't have told me all of that, to be honest. You should have just let me believe it was brilliant.
I really, in general in life, I try and, you know, give my honest self, and like, if people can appreciate that, then there is no, you know, otherwise you give false expectations. But I want to get clear, I didn't even get this off Google. I went back to my original thing, which was from my mind. And so there we go. Yeah, you're right to think that I am brilliant. Okay, so let's move forward.
We'll keep that then. Okay. I did say it. I don't want to take it back. You felt, look, we're just trying to, you know, have some positive vibes in a dying, evil world. So yeah, you're brilliant, Johnny.
Thank you. No troubles there. Puns welcome. So let me think about do you know what? One aspect of my world, which this is a slight negative about an overall positive situation, okay? And that is, I love it when we get into spring. We are officially in spring now. Clocks have moved and given us more time in that daylight. My son often comes out with things now. He tells me facts that sometimes I don't know. He teaches me things. I'm like, you're 6, mate. What are you doing? He told me that the clocks moving were actually to do with originally a man who liked to play golf, and he decided to change. Obviously, must have been a powerful dude, maybe a politician or whatnot. He wanted more hours playing golf, so he decided to put the clocks back at that time. That's some knowledge. Take that and do with it what you will. It's probably true. It was told to me by a 6-year-old, though, who learned it off a podcast. So there's plenty of room for some falsehoods in there. Either way, I digress. The fact is it's spring now, and I'm very happy about that. But the insects come out, Twayna. Insects, ants, wasps, the lot of them. And that is something that is already irking me as part of an overall positive, net positive in my life. What do you make of insects?
I'm not a fan of insects, really. I don't really get them that much because I live in a flat quite high up. So in terms of insects,
they can't climb, can they, or fly?
Can't climb or fly. So it's an insect-free zone.
They're all on the ground.
You live on the ground, you've got a house and you've got a garden, that's your problem. I live up in the sky, and so no insects are up here. So yeah, I'll get spiders, get quite a few spiders actually, which is a bit annoying, and a few bees and a few wasps. Yeah, and flies sometimes.
They've all teleported.
Ladybug, they get the lift. What they do is they just get
get the lift.
They get in the lift and then they just come and knock on the door. So when I come home from work, there's a load of insects. I open the door and they come in with me. It's great. I just let him in. I let him in through the front door.
Fair enough. I didn't realise, but I actually do need to move to a block of flats to get away from insects.
Yeah.
I presume they keep to themselves when they get to your...
Yeah, they do. They just mind their own business. I'm like, go to your room. I've got stuff to do. I'll see you later. Do you want to come out for a wander around just when I'm getting ready for bed? That's always a really useful time to discover where the insects are.
And in this day and age, having animal or wildlife that respects humans and keep themselves to themselves, what more can you ask for? So shout out to the insects. Maybe I've been too harsh on them. Are we ready to start solving some people's troubles, Twayna?
Yes, 100%.
Here we go. Again and again, I've been let down or betrayed by my best mate. He keeps taking advantage of me, and I'm not sure I want to continue our friendship. We're both 16-year-old lads and have been friends since the start of secondary school. He's always asking to copy my schoolwork or getting me to do it for him. Worse, if he knows I like a girl, he flirts with her. There was one girl I really liked, and instead of helping me, he kissed her. I've had enough of him walking all over me, but I don't have many mates and would be lost without him. What should I do? Twayna.
Get some new friends. It's time to branch out and make some friends. This guy is just going to drag you down. You've known him 4-5 years. You're not going to know him, hopefully, for the rest of your life, because it sounds like this person will make you miserable forever. It sounded like they're making you miserable now. It doesn't sound like a balanced and healthy relationship. Just get some new friends. Just get a bit more confidence in yourself and spend less time with him and try and just find some new friends. Don't confide in him. Don't help him do his homework. Just let it peter out. It's not worth holding on to this guy.
Yeah, as Twayna rightly says, get rid of this dude. In about 20 years' time, he'll be shagging your wife behind your back. Let's be honest.
Probably in front of you by the sounds of it. Do you know what I mean?
In front of you. The guy's got a jigsaw from the film Saw mentality. He's just trying to torture you. Show me what you like so I can take it from you. Like, you know, but and even then, I'm going to explain that you should move on past this guy. But also, I would say that, you know, let's cut him some slack. He's 16 as well, and he's trying to work stuff out. And probably his behavior actually comes from insecurity, because actually he's only trying to do and go after the things you like because he thinks they're good because you tell him you like them, including people. It screams of insecurity, and you're obviously insecure because you're worried about making friends, but you do have to branch out. And just as a bit of encouragement, I would say, I remember, and I'm a little bit of a positive case on this front, but I remember when I was in school feeling like looking around at a bunch of mates and being like, oh, I'm going to know you guys forever, love you guys. Most of them I never speak to anymore, and I wouldn't. And don't get me wrong, as I say, I'm a bit of a positive case. There's one who I'm still very good mates with. There's a couple who I will bump into, and we're friendly, and maybe even have a pint every now and then. But reality is most of these guys you go to school with should not have a massive impact on your life. So get some confidence up, start talking to some other people, maybe find what you're interested in, and you'll naturally congregate around new mates. But have some standards on what you accept. And once you realise you can make new friends, you won't accept behaviour like this, because this guy sounds like a bit of a wrong un, really, despite the fact because he's a young guy working it out himself, and you deserve better. So find some new mates.
Yeah.
Sorted that one, haven't we, Twayna?
100%.
On fire. Let's move on to the next one.
My wife's eating habits drive me crazy. What can I do? We've been married for 30 years and we are a good team together, but she doesn't seem to be able to eat with her mouth closed. Sitting beside me now, she's noisily crunching her way through a bunch of cheese crackers and an apple. When we're out with friends, she's by far the noisiest eater at the table. I mentioned it early in our marriage, but we've had more serious stuff to deal with over the years, so I've let it slide. I love her. I love her energy, strength, and if it's not mealtime, her presence. But we're eating together more and more as we head into retirement, and I find it difficult to stay in the room with her.
This is brilliant. This is lovely. I love. I mean, they're approaching their retirement years, as he's confessed, and we've had more serious stuff to deal with over the years. Oh, really? Have you? Than her eating audio whilst eating. Come on. I mean, I've had a bit of, I think my wife might be writing a similar post about me in years to come. And I don't even think I'm that bad. Like, I'm not like, I don't eat with my mouth full, but she thinks I'm noisy when I eat crisps. Get on with it.
It's crisps. It's crisps.
Yeah, exactly. Show me a quiet crisp eater, and I'll show you someone who's not taking it seriously, not enjoying the process. I think that, I mean, this is almost not a serious commentary anyway, but, and I do love the fact that she's actually the person sitting next to you as you're writing out a diatribe about her. But it's kind of, I'm taking this as I believe it to be semi-serious. It does annoy you, but you know, you're not going to go to the wall over it. But I would say that there are some people who are really, really susceptible to this, apparently, more so than most. Like, I know that there are some noisy eaters. I wouldn't like to be, you know, right next to them, but I don't get it where it sounds like they're in my head or anything. Some people really, really get bothered by this. And I love the fact that this person is kind enough to list his wife's admirable qualities, her energy, her strength. And if it's not mealtime, her presence. You know what I mean? It's like, I do love your energy and strength, but I can't handle you eating quavers, love. It's over. I mean, yeah. Obviously, it goes without saying that you're just going to have to find a way of dealing with it, and maybe put some headphones in at mealtime. Listen to your favourite audio book or Madonna's greatest hits, whatever. But you're not going to leave your wife because she's a noisy eater. Get a grip on yourself. What do you think, Twayna?
Maybe it's time to introduce some soft food. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh.
I think maybe she likes, you know, cheese crackers. Maybe no more crackers. Maybe steam the apple so it's soft. Mashed potato soup. Come on. Also, you're not eating like meal times, 3 meals a day. It's a very short amount of time in the day. Like, you're awake for, I don't know how many hours. You're not spending all day eating. So, like, do you know what I mean? It's a few times in the day. Try not to eat with her. Or, do you know what I mean? Maybe have your breakfast on your own. And that gives you lunch and dinner. And maybe, like I said, soft food. But I don't think this is like, you're not going to leave your wife. It doesn't sound like you're just annoyed by it.
Yeah.
So
what I would say is this, and I think your suggestion there of introducing a gruel-based diet to save your marriage is very, very apropos. Well done, Twayna. That's why she's so good at this. She thinks outside of the box. But the thing is there's a couple of telltale signs. You know what I was saying about some people are overly afflicted by this? It's like when we go out, she's by far the noisiest eater at the table. I guarantee not everyone's sitting there going, oh, wow, she's so noisy. Not everyone's affected the way that you are by it. So you've got some kind of residual shame or embarrassment because you think everyone else thinks about it the way that you do. They don't. Some people have probably noticed, but it's probably a little low down their priority list to them. And clearly, when you actually strip it back, you know it is for you as well, because you've had more serious stuff like life, like people getting ill, people passing away, you know what I mean? Children maybe at this stage of your life, who knows? And you're there thinking about you can't handle her eating an apple. It's not that high up the list. And like you say, the only thing you would say is if it's late in your life, you can introduce new kind of quirks to your relationship, i.e., I'm no longer going to eat with you anymore because it bothers me, so I'll just go and eat in my room or whatever. You can do that, but you're not going to let it affect your overall marriage. It is what it is. Like, she ain't changing, you ain't leaving, so get on with it. But thanks for writing in. Thanks for writing in and letting us get our teeth into it. Excuse that pun. Anything else to that one, Twayna, or we sorted it?
No, sorted, I think.
Yeah, absolutely knocked out the park. Let's go for the next one. Oh, it's a big one as well. My wife wants to quit her well-paid job to go self-employed, but her business is hardly established. This is making me feel sick with worry. She's 42 and she's got into upcycling old furniture and selling it on auction sites. She's got a manager's job for a well-known department store. I'm 47 and I'm a primary school teacher. At the moment, we're just keeping our heads above water. We did have a fish and chip van, I should say, which we took around festivals and events to bring in extra money, but my wife decided to sell it so that she had time to paint old furniture. We split the proceeds between us. Our financial setup has worked well to date. I pay the mortgage and she pays the bills. Now her money from the sale of the van has now gone on buying stock and for the rental of a lockup. She wants my share of the money to support some marketing for her business and wants to hand her notice in. I can't afford to take on the mortgage and all of the bills without her income. She's going to blow all the money from the fish and chip van sale, and I'm worried that soon we won't have enough to pay the mortgage. Am I being unfair saying no? Would you reckon, Twayna?
I don't think you're being unfair. I think you're being cautious, rightly so. Your wife sounds like she's a bit of a Del boy, isn't it? It's like this is like I'll be a millionaire. It's like you probably won't, but she's had it. She's 42. She's had enough of like the 9 to 5, which is a bit boring. We know that. You obviously want a bit of security because you've got a home. You need to pay your bills. Maybe you can suggest to her that she maybe works part-time and she does it slowly instead of all in one go. As for the one in your share of the sale of the van, maybe you should maybe not give her all of it, but with some of your share, maybe buy yourself a tent just in case in about a year's time you'll need somewhere to live. I mean, do you know what I mean? Just you need to have a safety net and various backup plans for your wife just wanting to have a change of career, because it happens after people have worked for a bit and it's just like, this is boring. I want to do something that puts a bit of fire in my belly. So that's all she wants. She just wants to be happy, and you're just a school teacher who seems to be happy paying the mortgage and happy in your career. She just wants something a bit different. So maybe you're gonna have to support her a bit, but maybe tell her to slow it down a bit in her desire to be the next, I don't know, who's a successful entrepreneur? Donald Trump?
Oh, we don't often mention his name on this pod, but well done. Well segued in there. And you're right, Twayna. Everyone needs to satisfy that fire in their belly at some point, and nothing puts fire in the belly like upcycling old furniture. Dare to dream, people. Dare to dream. I really agree with where you're coming from on this. I think that people can lose track of what life's about sometimes. And of course, everyone has responsibilities. It's one of the bad things, I guess, of becoming an adult, where it's annoying, but yeah, you do have responsibilities and you've got to maintain yourself and people aren't going to pay for you. With that being said, not everyone wants to just lock in to the capitalist merry-go-round and then just wake up one day when they're ready to die and wondering what else they could have done. So I would say if you're married and want to be in a good marriage, you do have to support each other, sometimes in things that might not be the most initially prudent. However, there has to be some kind of, you were talking about almost a phased approach into it. It's just about being vigilant and not too gung-ho. And so she's obviously sold this fish and chip van, you know what I mean? So you can't even do that on the weekends anymore. That's gone. But if she's asking to spend above and beyond for the lockup or whatever, then I think you need to place boundaries on this and say, this is what our income is. I'm going to struggle to pay this long term. You maybe have, 6 months to get to this level of economic competency, or we're going to have to think again. You aren't going to have an endless runway. You're not going to have 5 years to get this right because we'll lose our house, and I'm not prepared to do that. Those are fair enough boundaries. But if this person, your wife, at this stage is just saying, I need to try something else, I need to try and, make a claim for happiness and do something different that invigorates me, I think realistically you need to try and support her and not just settle for stability because it makes you feel comfortable when ultimately it's clearly not proving satisfying enough for your wife. And what's the alternative? She gets fed up and leaves you one day for some guy driving a Harley Davidson. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What way do you want her fire in her belly to come? You know what I mean? Do you want that, or do you want some upcycled furniture in your garage? I'd go for the latter, mate. And so support her, but set some boundaries. There we go. Knocked it out of the wheel. I'm just on fire. When we're like this, we get in a groove, Twayna, and the troubles come at us like a tennis trouble game, and we're just knocking them back. Like mixed doubles, whack, whack, straight back, hitting winners every time. Here's the next one.
My partner and I recently had our first child. We live in a small flat and money is tight. The biggest help and support we've had has been from my partner's parents, who have been fantastic. My relationship with them has never been bad, and I get the feeling they've grown to respect and like me. The other day, politics came up in the conversation, and they were talking positively about reform and said Keir Starmer is an idiot. I find opinions like these very hard to hear because I struggle seeing this point of view. It's obvious to me that this government has made errors that have damaged this country, but as for Farage, I don't have the words to describe how much I dislike him. My immediate response is to gently challenge their opinions, but when I get the response that neither of them do politics and they're all liars anyway. This just makes me want to shout more because it directly contradicts what they've just said. My partner doesn't stand up to her parents and never has, and so while she agrees politically with me, she will also not challenge her parents. Our relationship is good, and I'm grateful to them. I try to tell myself that the best thing to do is not talk about this, but I feel I have lost my integrity and get myself very worked up, getting angry at my partner's parents, holding views that directly harm their new grandchild due to stupidity. Am I simply a people pleaser?
First of all, you got to see the good in everyone, okay? And you've been a little flippant by writing off your partner's parents, saying that their views are stupid. When they've said Keir Starmer is an idiot, that's 100% right. So whether you've worked it out or not, that's 100% right. Well done. They're halfway there. The guy is an absolute goon. Brian Badonde looks like a thumb with brill creamed hair. Sick of Keir Starmer. No defence for him here. Obviously, the main gripe is with that toad, Nigel Farage, and reform. And if you are a reform listener listening to this, well, it's nice of you to listen, actually. Keep supporting the pod. But the reality is this is not a happy home for your brand of politics. And let's be honest, it's a podcast fronted by two black people, so you're not listening. We know that. We know you're not there. Nigel is a toad, an absolute dickhead. And I would suggest with this person, do not back down on your views. But you also have to respect that everyone, has opinions. And depending on how far the opinions go, because there are some that are just going to be completely unpalatable. But the kind of, without basis, oh, yeah, I just feel like the country's getting full up and stuff. I tend to label those people as being a bit thick, really. They're a bit certainly naive rather than necessarily evil. And so I would see it as my duty to certainly challenge them when they bring these points up and maybe find subtle ways of introducing them into new ideas. Maybe hide the remote so they can't put GB News on anymore. And they can, maybe find out that there are other ways of thinking about the world. But the reason why I say to keep going on this is you are now connected to them by blood. They have a grandchild who is your son. I believe it's a son. Either way, it's a grandchild. And so if you leave these views unchallenged, there's a good chance that one way or another, these views and opinions might seep through to your own child. And you can't have that. Part of the way that some people try to tackle these antiquated views are that they believe that they're mainly held by an elder generation. And as they start to die out and new children with new perspectives come about, some of those ideas will naturally die out. There's proof of that over time anyway. But they won't do if those views are being drip fed into the next generation unchallenged, and then they're going to be parroting things that their grandparents have said. So do continue to challenge it, and maybe speak to your wife as well, who or partner, who, and say, look, you need to front this a little bit more. I'm not expecting Barneys every time, but if there's, if they're calling out every time a black Uber driver shows up, then you've really got something as a couple that you need to be challenging, especially now your parents. What do you reckon, Twayna?
I agree, because we're old enough, Johnny, and we've experienced it where we went to school or whatever, where we always said, well, my nan said this. Do you know what I mean? There's always somebody's got a racist nan. Do you know what I mean? A racist nan belongs to families. They're not just, do you know what I mean? Just appear in the ether, just like bobbing about. It's like they're related to people, and they're related to people that you know. So unless you want your kid to have like a racist nan and a granddad, or just somebody who, like you said, who's got views that you don't share, and you don't want them to sort of like articulate those views in front of your children, then you're gonna have to turn around and push back. You're like, yes, June, I wholeheartedly agree that Keir Starmer is an idiot. The whole of Labour Party and the cabinet are idiots. So the Tories, especially so's Reform. Do you know what I mean? And here's why. Push back. Yeah. You can't just sort of sit inside, because otherwise they'll just be like, it's what I believe. I don't care what you fucking believe, June. Shut your fucking mouth. But also, I love you and your family. You're great. You've been great with me. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like Johnny said, push back on this stuff. You can't let it seep in, because then all your kids just going to be doing is going, well, I don't believe this, but this is what my nan said. Do you know what I mean?
And if you don't have the courage to speak up, then just play this podcast out loud to them. Yeah. It make them irate again by the fact that it's two black people talking like that. But also, I don't fancy the nan's chance of taking on Twayna Mayne in a head-to-head fight. And if her name's June, especially, she's basically been threatened. So, let Twayna do the work for you, and they'll get back in their box. Pleased to help. Right, that one's sorted. Here we go on to the next one. I'm a female and 28, and she's 30. We met last year at a local music festival, queuing for the loos. She was so funny and sharp, and we hit it off immediately. One night she came round to mine for drinks to watch a film, and we both had too much to drink. Ooh, we slept together. My first time with a woman, and it was amazing. She said she didn't normally like women either, but had developed feelings for me. However, the next morning, she said she had to tell me something. She confessed that she was an escort. Before that, she'd been vague about her job, saying she did shift work in bars. She wants to get out of it and get a proper job, but keeps being sucked back in by the money. I'm not judgmental, but I hate to think about her sleeping with men. We both keep saying we should stay with friends, but every time we go out, we end up in bed together. We both keep saying we should stay friends, but every time we go out, we end up in bed together. I'm so confused about my feelings and sexuality and don't know how to cope. What do you reckon, Twayna?
Stop going out drinking. That might help you to cope. But basically, you're a homosexual. You're attracted to women. Could be a bisexual. That's also allowed. What are you upset about here? The fact that she's an escort. Where's the problem with this? I'm sure. I'm not quite sure what this person's confused about. Their sexuality and the fact that they seem to be in a sexual relationship with an escort. It's personally, escorts are not that bad. That's all I'm saying. Not that I've dated an escort.
Fair. They're all right for other people, but not for me. No,
not for me. The fact is, don't be. This is not that confusing, really. It's just you're a bisexual woman who's attracted. I'm saying you're a bisexual. You could be whatever. You could be a lesbian, but you're attracted to somebody of the same sex. So maybe it's new for you, and you're just feeling slightly overwhelmed about this. And also, she's thrown an additional curveball into this by saying that she actually dates people and possibly sleeps with them. I don't know if you're allowed to sleep with somebody if you're an escort, but maybe you are. I'm not sure because I've never dated an escort.
And wouldn't. I've got rules.
I wouldn't. Not that I would. Well, anyway. Johnny. Help me out.
Well, so a couple of things. First of all, I do enjoy the term from the lady you're with who said she's doing shift work at the bar.
Yeah.
She's like, I've got another shift down at the old Birdcage nightclub. Oh yeah, that punching in the clock. I think that her issue seems to be, and agreed, she is either a lesbian or bisexual, but I think it's partly because, not that she necessarily has a problem with the partner being an escort, but because she is then sleeping with men, it's like because they both don't usually get with women, they've both come together and thought, we're doing this together. But then this woman is opting back into doing it with men, which is making her feel insecure about whether it's real between them, or maybe if this woman's going to end up preferring men and going back to men, that kind of thing, because it's all new for her. So, but she's saying she's not judgmental. I think ultimately the issue of her being her and her sexuality, I think she's either come to terms with it or will come to terms with it.
It's coming to, but also, like, saying that now, basically, I think the issue that she has is that she's actually dating a sex worker. That's the issue. Yeah. That's the issue here, actually. And I'm not sure. Push comes to, like, if she was a sex worker who was escorting with women as a woman, would she be equally as? I think it's the fact that she's a sex worker. I think the clientele of her new, let's say, this girlfriend, I don't think the sex of them matters. I think it's the fact that she's actually a sex worker, and I think that's the slight issue. Actually, well,
she makes a point of saying it's, but I hate to think about her sleeping with men. So
yeah, but it's because she's sleeping with men. But if she was sleeping with women, I think she'd also go, I think she'd say the same if it was women as well.
She might be sleeping with women though as well. Yeah. She doesn't even mention women. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you're right. Maybe it is just, it could be anyone. But either way, I think it is to do with the person's work that she does. Yeah. And look, you've obviously said, like Twayna said, I'm not judgmental. But then you've gone on to say, I'm not going to date an escort. And that's fair enough. Everyone's got boundaries. So the fact is I don't even think it's too judgmental to say that might not be someone's preference. They might say, I respect that, irrespective that's what you're doing for work, but I'm not going to date it, because there are complications involved with it. There's issues around whether you feel, that someone is being essentially loyal to you, if they're, if they're having intercourse with other people, and there's a safety aspect of it as well, which might mean that you go, you know what, I just don't want to get involved with this. So I don't think that this is about your feelings. I think it's quite clear you like this lady, and I don't think it's an issue with your sexuality, because I think you're starting to get to terms with the fact that you like women, even if it's going to be this one or another one. But I don't think that, whether you call it judgmental or not, I think you have a lot more of an issue with her job. And so you can say, if you do it in a respectful way, if you continue to do this job, I don't think I'm going to be able to be in a relationship with you. At least you're being open up front, but harboring it when you're telling her, because guess what she's going to think if you say, I'm not judgmental? She's going to think you're not judgmental. But reality is you are a bit judgmental. And that's just is what it is. So be open and honest about where it is. If she does want to get out of it and find another job, then, why waste a good thing? But if she's going to keep going back to it, then maybe it might not be the right person for you. I think we sorted that one. Ready for the final trouble of this episode? Here we go.
My marriage is falling apart because the sex is so bad and he doesn't know how to please me. So I've had to look elsewhere. Help me.
How dare you be this vague? How dare you be this vague with this?
2 sentences, crikey.
I know, but I've had to look elsewhere. I mean, we can only read into what this is. So you're basically having sex with other people. We can, because I don't know whether you've had to look into your naughty drawer and get things out. You know what I mean? Because in which case, go for that. Do that for the rest of your life if you want. You know what I mean? Everyone should know how to sort themselves out every now and then. But if you're shagging other people, then help me. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. But the reality is the simple thing is you need to break up. with your marriage. You need to call it a day. You can't be having extramaritals just because your husband's terrible in bed. It's probably not. I got news for you. It's probably not going to get any better without without some intervention. It's just going to be more of the same. So unless you're willing to lay back and think of England, while he's just in there, I wouldn't even say thrusting around. It's probably even less than that. Just a limp fish on you. Then you're gonna have to be honest about what it is. The one thing I'll say before you go to Anna is the sexual component of marriages can be taken for granted sometimes. Like, people can talk about it like it's an afterthought. You're with that one person for the rest of your life, and and you can have conversations. It might be one of the things that you need to look at, where you can have an open marriage, or you can, and then as long as everyone knows what's going on, it sounds like you've beaten to the buzzer and already took matters into your own hands anyway. Yeah. But if you could come to some agreement, then you might be able to stay together. But the whole point is the idea you can stay for the rest of your life in monogamous relationships with a sex life that is less than satisfying. It's a long time. It's like a prison sentence. So I would say it sounds like you're desperately in need of something else. Unless you can find an agreement through conversation, then the marriage won't last anyway, and you're better to be honest about that. What do you reckon, Twayna?
They've taken matters into their own hand. They've taken matters into somebody else's hands as well. What do they want help with? This is my favourite bit. It's like, the marriage is so bad, he doesn't know how to please himself. I've had to look elsewhere. Help me. Help me with what? More people to have sex with? Like, where's the help? Like, help me morally? What's the help?
I've just realised they might be asking me to help them. They've written in and they need an email. I'm married as well. Okay, married. I'm not going to be helping you fulfill you. No, sorry, Twayna. I just had to clear that up. Okay.
It might be aimed at you, Johnny. They're like, help me. It's like, no, Johnny's married to somebody else and they are fine. They are not in an open relationship. This is something that I think. What'd you say?
Sorry? No, I didn't say anything.
Something. Oh, I heard something. No. What was that? I don't know. Technology. No, they've sort of gone. The sex is so bad, he doesn't know how to please me. Like you said, they should have had conversations ages ago about this. You've gone outside the marriage. You've broken some vows. You need to get back on. Are you happy with this situation? Clearly not, because your marriage is falling apart. It will continue to break if this continues this way. If you want to save the marriage, then it's time to sit down and have a chat with your husband and see if you can get back on track. If not, end it. That's all I can say.
And it's too late, in all honesty. You've been shagging other people. So you're going to tell your husband at some point, ultimately, not attracted to you. That would be the nice way of saying it. Shit in bed is going to be the more honest, but, harsher way of saying it. And then at that point, you're also going to have to square up and say, and by the way, I've been shagging other people. Oh, right. Okay. So we can have a conversation about saving the marriage, but even then you've already had an affair behind the back.
Do they want help with how to break up with him? Maybe that. It's like, dear Johnny and Twayna at a Trouble Shared podcast, I listened to the episodes and I'm hoping that you'd help me write a note to my husband to let him know that the marriage is over, because he can't satisfy me in bed. So I've been sleeping with somebody else, maybe others. And I just want him to know that it's over. If you could help me draft a note, then
we'll do better than that. Give us his give us his social handle. We'll get some messages over ASAP. Let him know about it. Listen, mate, you're shit in bed and your wife's shagging other people. Peace. And if you want a trouble shared to deal with some of the issues that are now coming up in your life, do let us know. We can just leave it like that for him, and we'll have some future content available for you. But I think ultimately your marriage is over. Thanks for writing in. We've all had a good laugh. And hopefully your sex improves when you're living somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. Done. Another episode down and more trouble sorted out. Knocked out of the park, I should say. As always, thanks for listening, and do support this podcast by sharing it with people that you know and like and think that might enjoy this as well. If you're enjoying it, you definitely know people who would enjoy it. Share it with them. We need you to help grow the podcast the same way we can. Apart from that, if you want one of your problems solved, get in touch. Oh no, why do I keep talking about our socials? You set an email account up, didn't you?
What was it? Bear with me. I need to look it up. I need to look it up. We've done an email, and it is, what is it? A troublesharedpod@gmail.com.
There you go. Do not message us on our socials. It will not be welcome anymore. Get into that inbox. And then you really can stay anonymous. You can stay anonymous. Troublesharedpod@gmail.com. We'll be reading it intently because Twayna's just remembered what the email address is.
Yeah, a troublesharedpod@gmail.com. Yeah.
There you go. But thank you guys for listening. And we'll be back next Tuesday with more of your troubles getting solved. All that's left for me to do is remind everyone that a trouble shared is a trouble halved. Thank you and bye.